Hey everybody, Chris with Willow Hikes. Welcome back. And today we're going to talk about electronics. So, electronics in the middle of nowhere, is that something you want to have if you're trying to get away from it all? Well, it depends, but we'll take a look. Let's get into it. So, electronics. What kind of electronics are we talking about if we're going out in the woods, backpacking? Definitely a toaster, blender, portable television. Need all those things. On a more serious note, though, when I started out backpacking, the only electronics I even thought about taking, probably when I was a kid, was the Walkman. We've come a long way. If you're a purist and you want to get out there and just be immersed in nature, well, probably don't even bring a tent and, shoes and everything. But seriously, though, everybody nowadays has a cell phone, and cell phone is a lot more things than a phone nowadays, including a camera, music player, things like that. I did not have a cell phone until 2014, so prior to that, I never took a cell phone when I was backpacking. I would take a camera, and that was about it as far as electronics go. As GPS was introduced, thought about that. MP3 players. Now, I'm being told by all the young people that your phone is an MP3 player, but I don't use that in the backcountry because if I'm relying on my phone for other things, I don't want to run the batteries down. So a phone may be the one essential thing if you feel like you need it out in the backcountry. Again, it was only until a couple of years ago I actually started even taking my phone, and that's just because of the apps I used. The Pacific Crest Trail has a great app, Half Mile app, and that's why I took my phone. I had an iPod. I used that as the camera. And you'll probably want some kind of a camera because it's beautiful out there and you want to remember it. There are trips where I didn't take any kind of camera, and I was very mindful, very present. But a cell phone, that's a thing that you might want to take. Now, cell phone has a lot of uses. There are apps, there's GPS. If you're in cell service, you can call for help. You can play Candy Crush if that's what you want to do in the backcountry. So a cell phone. Depending on how long you're going out, you may want some kind of a battery backup power cell to charge that. On an 8-day trip, my phone is not going to last me the whole time, especially if I'm taking lots of pictures or navigating with that. So the thing with power banks is, like a lot of technology, as soon as you buy it, something new and better comes out. Currently, I have on my way a Nitecore NB10000. This is a carbon fiber power bank. Weighs about 5 ounces. So I've got that coming. But what I've used, once I started actually taking electronics in the backcountry, I'll show you the ones I have. So these you can pick up pretty cheap in several places. So this one is, I believe, 5,000 milliamps. So get a couple of charges off of this. It's pretty heavy. They're getting lighter as you go on. This one doesn't have quite as much juice. It's definitely lighter. This is pocket juice. These are super cheap, so you don't have to spend a lot of money to get these. Another one I picked up. I love this one. I take it. Also pocket juice. And this is 2,200 capacity. Has nice little lights on it to show you how much is left in it. It's compact. Weighs very little. Came with this awesome little short super light charging cord. Now this is the USB-A. I know a lot of things are going to USB-C now, but a lot of the stuff I have is USB-A. So I have this. My cell phone is USB-C, so picked up the smallest cord I could find, so throw that in there as well. You can also pick up little chargers like this. This thing is tiny, compact. This is a USB-A charger. And on a longer trip, they weigh quite a bit, but this solar charger has a compass, has light, 20,000 capacity. So this will keep me going for a while. It's pretty heavy, which is why I've ordered the night core, although the capacity on that is half as much. So if you're taking electronics and you're out for a long time, you're probably going to need to recharge stuff. So those are what I have. I was also going to show you some of my other electronics. So before I came out here today to this beautiful setting out in nature, I grabbed the box labeled power supplies. So I showed you my power supplies. I also wanted to show you my electronics. So I grabbed the box. I was kind of in a hurry. And so I have electrolytes. So this is a video about electronics, not electrolytes, but at least I'll stay hydrated out here. But what I also do have that I can show you now is the Garmin InReach Mini. This is a satellite beacon. You can send text messages with this. As you saw in a video before, if you've been watching my previous videos, I got hurt pretty bad on a trip to the Wallowa Mountains. And as I was recovering at the bottom of that in the boulders, I mentioned that that's the kind of reason a person would want to have something like a Garmin, just to call for help if they were incapacitated, couldn't get out. So I picked this up. It does have you have to pay yearly. The plan I have, you can pause it. So in the wintertime when I'm not out, I don't have to pay monthly. You can send 3 different preset messages to people for free. You can also text on this. It's a pain in the butt to text on. But the important part of this is it has an SOS button. So might talk about these in depth a little more in the future, but I take this now, unless I'm on a super heavily used trail in a populated area. Just in case, just keep it here. So that's what I can show you right now. Other electronics I have, I'll show you after I, am back and can pull those out instead of electrolytes. So while we're here, again, our society today, everybody seems to be attached to their phone, and being out backpacking, it's a good chance to detach from that. Having said that, yes, there are some great apps. We'll talk about the apps that I use, but not in this video. We'll talk about some of those in navigation, and then as we're preparing our trips, we'll talk about some other apps on there, but definitely navigation helpful. And even if you don't have apps, I actually used Google Maps when I was in Yosemite in the backcountry, and there was up to 10 feet of snow, and I did not have an app for navigation. I had a map and a compass, but the trail was under snow for 99% of that experience, and I was able to get 1 bar on my phone, and Google Maps got me in the right direction. So having a phone, not the worst idea unless you are a purist, and then you better stay on those popular trails or learn to use a map and compass. We'll talk about that later too, but I'm going to go look for rocks and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful setting. And then I'll pull out my electronics and give you some ideas of other things that I take from time to time. Okay, so now that I'm home, taking a look at the actual electronics box I have. I don't have that much stuff. Overall, the phone is going to be the big thing. But there's a few things I might take, and I've got some things in here that I used to take or have tried taking. You know, a watch. We've got smartwatches, GPS watches. This Casio has an altimeter. Tells the temperature. Used to wear this a lot. I don't really care about those things now. Gets sweaty, so. But a watch. Something I took way back in the day. This little game system. It's got like 64 games loaded on it. Get it on Amazon, probably Temu, places like that. Takes a few batteries. That first long trip, I thought I'd get bored out there, so I brought this. Kind of defeats the purpose of being out in nature and unplugging, but yeah, something to pass the time on a long trip, I suppose. Definitely if you're taking kids, maybe. Now, the other things I actually will take on my trips, depending on how long, Amazon Kindle. The case, it's kind of heavy. And when I'm trying to make big miles, going fast, going light, I will not bring this. Ironically, when I usually bring this is like on 5, 6, 7, 8-day trips where I'm going to be packing more weight and should be cutting weight. But it's really great laying in a hammock, reading a book after a long trail day. So something to think about. Or you could bring a regular book, but I mean, this is like $1,000 and weighs less. The other thing I do take is an MP3 player. Now, I know everybody I talk to says your phone is an MP3 player. I don't like to use the battery for that. And they're kind of hard to find MP3 players. But I've got this little SanDisk. It weighs next to nothing, and coupled with some wired headphones that go over the ear, I found these are the most comfortable for me if I'm laying in bed and sleeping. I don't listen to music when I'm on the trail. I want to be on the trail and experiencing nature. But sometimes in the hammock, around camp, if I'm lounging around, I'll listen to podcasts like the Backpacking Podcast or Backpacking in Blisters. Just kind of nice way to unwind. Also download old time radio shows like Suspense and things like that I'll listen to in the tent at night, which it might not be a good idea if you get creeped out easy, but that's how I use it, why I use it. And so the power banks recharge this and my phone. And that's pretty much the only electronics I take. Again, I want to unwind. I want to unplug. The MP3, it's kind of nice around camp at night. You know, I solo backpack 100% of the time. So I'm not sitting around a fire talking to my friends. So, you know, listen to podcasts, old-time radio shows, kind of nice at night in the tent. And again, the Kindle, just a good way to unwind, listen to the birds, look at the view. So that's it for electronics for me. Again, you're going to choose whether or not you want any at all. It's not a bad idea to have a phone just because of the GPS. But again, you don't want to just rely on that. Your phone can die. You may break it. And we'll talk about navigation, maps, things like that in another video. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. We're getting really close to getting you out there. So we'll see you next time.